This is called FFXAV Dawntrail has many reasons to cry.
So Dawntrail is sold as a holiday, but I sure hope you like crying on your holidays. We've got some intriguing comments from the English localization lead for 14 regarding Dawntrail.
Weren't there LED advertisements in the Purple City? Yes, and I think they give hints. I do think that those LED advertisements actually give really nice hints. Some of which I don't understand because I haven't played all the Final Fantasies, so some of them are references to other games, but definitely... Yes, so he's showing this article in the top right. FF14 Dawntrail has big energy, but still plenty of reasons to cry. PC Games speaks to FF14 Dawntrail's English localization lead, Kate, I don't know how to say that last name, about building the new expansion and always having reasons to cry.
And from what she mentioned about crying, you probably want to double check you have Kleenex stocked up before the expansion launches. Now, in my latest videos on Dawntrail...
Don't worry, I got plenty of duplicate WoW lore books, but that's a joke. That's a joke. I won't be tearing any more pages out of any more books, okay?
I talked about how the western islands of Tural seems to promise an adventure filled with the bright tropical sun, new next stocked up before the expansion launches. Now, in my latest videos on Dawntrail, I talked about how the western islands of Tural seems to promise an adventure filled with the bright tropical sun, new quest, and fun, especially underlined by Soken's lively new soundtrack featured in the cinematic trailer. However, the English localization lead for CBU3, Kate, hinted in a recent interview with PC Games N that Dawntrail isn't all sunshine and rainbows. And by the way, for those uninitiated, the localization lead, Kate, is the rock star on stage who translates the FanFest keynote for the English audience. So thank you, Kate. But before we dive into the bit which might result in you buying more Kleenex in bulk for expansion launch, it's worth noting that Kate did acknowledge the expansion's distinct, more lighthearted tone. To quote her directly, she said, "There's an energy to Dawntrail that I quite enjoy. It's got a big energy that I had a lot of fun with, especially in the voice recording." She further explained this fun aspect, implying it includes a mix of absurdity and dark humor. For instance, she recalled a hilariously dark line from the Ilmore NPC in the Shadowbringers expansion.
"When you coming back to WoW? Bro, I play WoW fucking 3 days a week. I stream it every Tuesday and every Wednesday, and I have 40 videos from the last month. Okay? There is no coming back to WoW, dog. I'm already playing. I'm already back." Like, yeah.
And he went, "My servant annoyed me, so I pushed him into the sea." And while she didn't confirm such humors would be present
I'm
in
so
Dawntrail,
behind.
It's likely her
It's
reference
okay,
was
bro.
inspired by her recent work on the expansion. So it makes me wonder
Yeah,
if
go check
there
it
might
out,
be
man.
similar
Lots and
tones
lots
in the
of-
humor
lots of-
come Dawntrail.
Lots of good stuff on the
despite
YouTube channel. I think you'd
seemingly
enjoy it,
cheerful
man.
exterior, Kate also
I'm back on the train, bro. I'm back on the speculation train. I can't help myself. We're doing lore tours. I'm doing lore tours of... I did Halls of Stone, Halls of Lightning, Uldaman, New Uldaman, Karazhan, New Karazhan, Ulduar. We got all those under the... All of those are checked off so far. We got Uldir, Uldum. We got all sorts of shit coming up, man. So
the Shadowbringers expansion, and he went, "My servant annoyed me, so I pushed him into the sea." And while she didn't confirm such humors would be present in Dawntrail, it's likely her reference was inspired by her recent work on the expansion. So it makes me wonder if there might be similar tones in the humor come Dawntrail. Yet, despite the seemingly cheerful exterior, Kate also cryptically hinted at the emotional depth of Dawntrail, saying, "I don't think you are ever going to be lacking in reasons to cry," accompanied by a laugh. Now, this laugh suggests that we are in for some emotional damage that CBU3 has masterfully been cooking in the depths of their
Emotional
Labyrinthos
damage.
equivalent. And what's more, Kate's candidness in this interview about her views on the unfolding narrative of Dawntrail really caught my attention. She openly shared her thoughts on Yoshi P's announcement at the recent FanFest, specifically regarding the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. She mentioned she initially had reservations about the direction of the story, in particular about the Scions splitting into two groups. Now, a random thought just flashed through my head when I read her comments. Her level of honesty is refreshing, and it mirrors the passionate discussions we always have in the comment section, where feedback is really given out of love of the game and it aims to enrich rather than criticize. And by the way, I do read every single of your comments, and from here on, if you get a heart from me, it means I read your comments. Thanks for making this community way more lively. Anyway, Kate goes on to say, and heads up is a long quote, "I'm revealing a little of my innate cynicism here, so hopefully I won't get into too much trouble, but we had the potential raised at the end of 6.0 of not being with the Scions anymore," referencing the end of Endwalker. "When I first learned we were going to actually have quite a few of them entered in with us, I was like, no. I want to give more airtime to new characters." Kate then goes on to elaborate that after diving into the script, witnessing the recording sessions, and just observing, I guess, the dynamics between the returning character and new faces, it's clear her skepticism was overturned. And if you read between the lines, I think what she's trying to say is that she's also surprised by the depth and the new dimensions that these interactions have brought to the narrative. And she even hinted that there will be certain moments that she thinks will stand out to the fans and be memorable. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, but her revelations suggest that if you're gearing up for Dawntrail with an expectation of encountering the familiar dynamics and banter we have come to love from the Scion through all the expansions, well, prepare to be surprised. Because my guess is that Kate's specific mention about the new dynamics amongst the returning characters likely stems from the never-seen-before development where the Scions are now split into two camps, engaging in what could be likened in my head to like an Amazing Race-style competition. And this brand new setup presents a unique opportunity to dive into the aspects of their personalities and relationships that we previously didn't explore.
Get to see them actually be competitive with one another in ways that aren't just little one-liners here and there. I'm excited for that. I think it's really going to make them a lot more like normal people. It's kind of like seeing Sephiroth, you know, taking a picture, stopping and taking a picture and, you know, saying the things that he does to Cloud in 7 Rebirth. Like, it's giving them an opportunity to show you this character in a different light.
Because in the past, we always had them working together towards a common objective. So this shift in team dynamics allows for a deeper exploration of individual characters. It provides new insights into how they operate under different circumstances, how they interact with brand new allies on Tural, and also how they react when they face challenges when not unified by a singular goal. Now, given Kate's role at CPU 3 entails scrutinizing every piece of dialogue, I think her shift from skepticism to admiration gives me confidence that the team has definitely excelled in crafting compelling dialogues for the coming expansion.
I would agree.
She hints at memorable moments, and I guess these are meant to rival the grapes meme from Endwalker 6.0 launch, so we shall see what's in store. When asked which Scion has undergone the most significant transformation,
Geo would have been
points
cool.
to Estinian, highlighting his journey from a reserved, almost stoic Dragoon in Heavensward to a character who engages in witty banter and shows a lighter side.
Yeah.
And this evolution, according to Kate, has opened up numerous fun writing opportunities, especially given his dry sense of humor.
Yeah, you've got to, because otherwise you really kind of like paint a character into a corner, you know? Where if Estinian is always gruff and rugged and kind of short with people and, you know, always stayed in the armor, that's just, that's what we call a one-dimensional character. So I think that it's everybody, even the most harsh of kings and rulers or knights or whatever, have those moments, however brief, where they let that guard down and you see it come through. I've been watching this show on Hulu recently, and it's fantastic. It's called Shogun. I don't know if you guys have been watching this, but this show is fucking sick. And one of the first things that they talk about on that show is the idea of the 3 hearts of man, how you have your heart that you show the world and that everyone kind of gets to see on a regular basis. You have your second heart that is for your closest friends and your family, much rarer to see. And then you have your third heart, which is more aligned with your true self, something deep inside that you never show anybody. And I think that I like to think of it in those terms because we have characters who have only shown one heart, and they have that second heart there that often doesn't get to shine through. And then even deeper than that, they have that third heart there where, you know, they have those really deeper internal motivations and thoughts that maybe they never share, even with their closest of friends. And so I think that this is an example. Estinian was, you know, the first heart was all he showed people. The, you know, the outward stoicism. And then that second heart is what he shows us, the Scions and his closer friends. No one else gets that, you know? And then even deeper still, there's something, I'm sure, within Estinian and all characters where there's another level where there's things happening in their mind that even they don't say out loud. And I think that's the case with real human beings too, you know? So I think, given that perspective, I like to use that perspective to analyze some of these characters. And I would like to see more of these characters kind of express that second heart, or maybe even expose every once in a while a little bit of that third inner, deeper kind of layer where, and I hate to say it, sometimes that third layer are things that you don't show people because you're afraid of what the response might be or whatever that might be, right? Justinian might be deeply and wildly obsessed with cute little puppies and kittens, but will never tell anyone because it's his ultimate weakness. So, you know, it's like sometimes you got to protect yourself a little bit and not give away what lies at the core of your being because it can be used against you. And that's often, I feel like, what that secrecy and kind of covering up of that most vulnerable kind of third heart would be. So anyway, yeah.
And I'm sure you remember that memorable scene too, him doing push-ups half naked. But aside from the man who evolved the most in terms of personality, comes another character that probably will be the most improved in terms of screen time. And this is what Kate had to say about Krau. It's been sort of a revelatory experience for me personally. I've told people when we started recording this expansion, I'm not sure I really know what Krau wants. And as we've written her for this expansion, seeing more of what her history is and how she reacts to it as a person,
I have an idea of what I would do with Krau,
which really adds a layer of depth. It makes you think about the things that you will not necessarily consider when you're writing it.
So for Krau, for me, Krau, her underlying thing that makes her different, and I think where I would go with her character, is that Krau has this innate thirst for for knowledge. And not just knowledge, but the truth. Like Krau, it doesn't matter if it's Baldessian via Galuf, which this also connects with Galuf and Tural, of course, or if it's the life stream or ethereal, whatever they call it, ethereal sea. Those kinds of things. Krau is about... I see Krau as a character who cares the most about like a universal truth. Like the character who's trying to understand the fundamental underlying connectivity and fabric of reality itself. Like, Krau's the Buddhist in the group. Krau's like that, I don't know. That like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say that, but I take that back. But I think you get the point of like, I always have seen her as like, it wouldn't matter. It is about good and evil, but I think for Krau, she just is more concerned with the truth. Isn't Y'shtola like that? Yes, but you would think if that were the case, I just feel like Y'shtola and her vision and her time in the life stream would be more relevant, and she would be a little bit more sagely as a result of it, but I don't know that I feel that way. I hate to say this, but I feel like Y'shtola is one of the most flat characters. I know that's probably going to bother some people, but I think Y'shtola is one of the most boring scions. I think, frankly, I don't know. I feel like she's mostly been the same kind of the entire time. And so I kind of think Y'shtola needs something, something different, because, yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's boring, but she's definitely is flat. I feel like, yeah, flat doesn't necessarily have to mean boring, but they're not that different in my head. I love her, but she needs some new dynamics. If something is missing, Y'shtola, in my opinion, chat, they just need to, maybe I'm wrong, but they just need to, I just kind of wish they just kind of full sent the romance thing with Runar. Like, I mean, we all want to romance Y'shtola anyway. Like, might as well let someone do it. Like, I just think Y'shtola has the opportunity, like, what she needs for her story is to open her heart a little bit, in my opinion. Like, and I know that some of that comes from her pseudo mother, so to speak, and Matoya, and the way that she kind of raised her, but I just, Y'shtola seems like that woman who's so fucking smart that it's like intimidating, and she never lets anyone get close as a result of it, when she probably has tremendous love in her heart that never has really been unlocked. And I don't know, I think that she's like that person who always who like, they logic their way out of emotional situations. Does that make sense? And I feel like she has that opportunity to make herself more emotionally available. Not only so that she can like open up to other people, but so that she can learn more about herself. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Y'shtola's always just been like very emotionally reserved, and I don't know. Maybe that's how she should stay, but not everyone has to change. I just think, as far as a character opportunity for her, I feel like that's where it exists, is the opening of her heart and letting people in. So I don't know. That's my thought. They'll never canonize relationships with the Scions because they're terrified of pissing off the shippers, and it's very cringe that character development won't happen because of it. I mean, I feel like the kind of lovers tension between Y'shtola and Runar already exists. Like, Y'shtola hasn't had anyone literally just like glaze her constantly like Runar. Like, it's very clear that like Runar sees something in Y'shtola that maybe a lot of other people either don't see or are afraid to say out loud. And he doesn't want to give it up as a result. Like, he's very clearly in love with her, and like something about her, you know, just puts stars in his eyes. So I don't know. I think that that's already kind of established in a way. Like, they could just lean into it, like literally and figuratively. And I think that would be fine. Like, I don't know, if you're such a weird, cynical fucking simp that you can't see video game characters fall in love because you're too lonely and weird to deal with that, then that's a you problem. That's very weird. This is Little Sun erasure. Yeah, I mean, it's one of Y'shtola's only memorable moments. I'm gonna say it, chat. The other memorable moment, there's 3 key memorable moments with Y'shtola: Little Sun, Water, Froth and Foam, and when Emmett pulled her out of the live stream. And we all know why that one was the most memorable. Okay, so, you know, even Alphino agrees. You know, he could probably draw it. So, just saying, there's a reason for that. Haha, book fall on head. What a good character. Yeah, right. I think out of all the Scions, Y'shtola definitely needs the most time. I agree. What's up, Tenebrae? What's good? Make Y'shtola have a villain arc where her lust for knowledge pushes her past the edge of no return. I think the problem with that is that Y'shtola is too wise. Y'shtola is blessed because she has knowledge, but she also has wisdom. And bless Matoya. Now, thank Matoya for that, because Y'shtola's scientific aptitude is quite intense, and her penchant for experimentation is dangerous. But no more dangerous than Urianger going behind our backs and having conversations with Asians. So, you know. Matoya death, Y'shtola sadness arc. See, here's what I would like to say. This is not a shot at you. This is what I believe. Because Wave said something similar about the twins. Wave said, in order for the twins story to move forward, one of them needs to die. And I said, no, they do not. That's Game of Thrones mentality. I am of the opinion that if to move stories forward, you have to kill characters that you're not very good at writing. That's just my opinion. I think deaths should be very calculated, very, very intentional, thought out. They need to be earned. They need to be fitting. Slinging deaths at characters is not the way to move other characters' stories forwards. It's the Game of Thrones treatment. And I get Game of Thrones is a little different in the setting and why people die so much, but I don't think that killing characters is good storytelling. I think that there are few lessons that you can teach through that, and they are valuable. They're valuable. But I think that there is so much more knowledge to be gleaned from interaction between two living people than a dead person and an alive person or something. I think that there's moments, right, where like you see the spirit of your father or something, or like, you know, Isael and you know, Orshafon, like they both died for very different reasons, very different times, and the way in which they utilized their characters after the fact was tasteful and not overdone. And so I just think that there's a very thin, very fine line to walk there between the disrespect of characters and the life of those characters and the progression of a story, especially the internal progression of a character. Bro, Wave wants to start a massive riot, kill the twins, and the community will travel to Japan with pitchforks. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Give one of them a standard 9-to-5 job. That'll move them forward. True. Or pulling the rug from under you and revealing that everyone's a piece of shit constantly. Yeah. Like, Isart didn't feel her death was cheap at all. Yeah, exactly. I don't think 14 needs to kill characters, but the fake out deaths are getting predictable. Yeah, well, you know, I think they still managed to surprise me, because what did I say about the 12? That they would all return to the star, all of them. Well, that was almost correct, except one of them chose not to. You know, so there's even times where the presumed disappearance or death or passing on, which is really what it is, doesn't come to pass, and that's more meaningful than if they died or went away. So I think there's opportunities to make those moments happen, but you just have to be very calculated about when you do it, because otherwise your story just turns into the same trope over and over of, oh, Glenn died? Oh, well, he didn't really die, but he died this time. With Y'shtola, I feel like it's almost a little bit of an inside joke, almost like a satire, because she is a cat. So the whole 9 lives thing I think is hilarious. I would also like to say that, like, in my opinion, when you do that with a character, if you do it more than twice, like, if the character doesn't die the first time, they have to die the second time. Because in my opinion, if they don't die the second time, then they're not gonna die. They're gonna stay alive forever. I think once you hit it that second time, you can't come back the third and decide. Like, I feel like once you've pulled that card 2 times on the same character, you can't play it anymore. That's how I feel about it. Like, another fake death with Y'shtola would be so distasteful and just, like, unnecessary. I feel like Thancred, similar deal. Yeah, I honestly thought Thancred was dead against Ranjit. I thought that was it. I legit thought that was the end of the story arc. And I was bawling, dude. The scenes with Reen and him, oh, dude, that just, like, he's, like, looking into the sky, and, like, I thought he was dead. Like, I thought he was dead for sure, dude. Bonafide, thanks for the 25 months, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, I thought Thancred was totally fucking dead. And yeah, so I'm not a big fan of, like, the fake outs. I get, like, the fake out for the triumphant return to restore hope, to win the day, and that kind of stuff. Like, I get that. It's very tropey and all that. And thankfully, it doesn't feel like I don't even know if that even, I don't know, dude. We fight the final boss riding on the back of a fucking iconic dragon who our mortal enemy turns into. Like, nothing in this game is that I mean, it's predictable, but, like, who the fuck predicts that?
Actors usually have very good instincts, so they'll bring something to the character and I'm like, oh yeah, that is right. So some fascinating remarks here, so let's unpack. As the team dives deeper into writing for Kral and bringing her to life through voice acting, Kate found that this process significantly enriched Krauser's character. It prompted reflections on aspects of Krauser's history and personality that hadn't been fully explored yet. At least that's my read. And I think she's trying to say the voice actors, with their instinctive grasp of the character's emotions and psyche, played a pivotal role in uncovering new dimensions to Kral, and their interpretations helped to reveal deeper understandings and nuances of Krauser's character.
That's pretty cool.
Which suggests that the voice acting breathed new life into her story, and it allowed the narrative team to just explore her story in ways that they hadn't anticipated in the first place. Now,
the voice acting made it better. That's the most Final Fantasy 16 thing I've ever heard. Ben Starr in the booth.
What does this mean for us? I think it speaks volumes about the character development that waits in store for us with respect to Kral. A new Pyromancer job is great and all, but as a character who has always been more of a supporting cast, I am, for one, really psyched to see her step up to be more in the limelight.
Me too.
Kate's subsequent comments reinforce the depth of Kral's character development. And she says, but yeah, I think through the process of doing all that writing and recording, I've really come to understand and like Kral. And I hope that other people will follow that journey as well, because yeah, she's now quite dear to me. And I hope that she can continue to take sort of a more active role, at least through these upcoming patches, because I think she has more to say. Now, regarding her latter statement, I can't help but wonder if that means we have much more to expect from Kral, maybe a hint of more character development beyond the 7.0 launch into the later patches. Kate then goes on to cover the unique challenges faced by the narrative team in terms of bringing the setting of Dawntrail, which is the new world, to life in the coming expansion. Initially mentioned in passing during A Realm Reborn 2.0, the concept of the new world was like a distant thought back then for CBU3. They have no immediate plans to take the Warrior of Light there. However, as is common in the evolution of many MMORPGs and RPGs, the question then eventually arose: what territories have we not explored yet? And I think as a community, the new world was an obvious choice. And everyone in this community probably pegged that as a possible destination even before Dawntrail was announced. Now, Kate explained that in developing Dawntrail, the team aimed to retain the essence of the new world as previously hinted at in the game's lore. She highlighted a detail from the trailer that some may have overlooked, which includes yours truly, shamefully. And Kate says, "We have taken an approach I think some people have picked up on in the trailer of having people who are from there be a bit sarcastic about it. Wook Lamat, our first in-game FF14 female Throfka, very pointedly refers to Tural as the land you call the new world, even giving a wry smile that breaks into a grin. My home, Tural." So this nuanced portrayal suggests a deeper, perhaps, appreciation for the new world, a subtlety that Kate's team has woven into the narrative, reflecting real-world cultural influences, especially that of the new world versus, I think, South America. And look, at the end of the day, the drip marketing of Dawntrail is slowly starting to review this isn't your regular holiday. And so I'm really starting to believe there's something to it as per what Kate seems to be hinting at, which is something I covered in detail in my previous.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be that guy, but like, people didn't seriously think that we're like just going on a vacation, right? Like, what kind of like weird? Why do people don't actually think that, right? Like that's so naive. It's like so insanely naive to think that I can't be the only. I'm not trying to be a dick. Like I can't be the only one that thinks that, right? Like, what? It's always been tongue-in-cheek for me. It's like to act like it's like it's not what we think it's gonna be. Like, well, I don't know what you think it's gonna be. Like, you guys really think it's gonna be just a fucking beach vacation? Like, no, dude. Why? No, of course not. Like,